Welcome guys to the Meet Damien live stream. Welcome traders and investors. We just had a Federal Reserve meeting conclude itself. They decided to lower interest rates here, and the market was kind of celebrating it because not only did they lower interest rates, but they also did quantitative easing, or they're hinting at doing quantitative easing. Let me just look at the news here real quick for you guys. I have a news article here showing that the Federal Reserve will start monthly T-bill purchases on December 12th, 2 days from now. They're going to start doing quantitative easing. Like, just I mean, it's nothing too crazy. They're just going to do about $40 billion worth of quantitative easing, but they said they might do that going into next month and the months after that, depending upon whether they think the market's needed or not. So they are concerned about what's going on out there in the markets. We are all concerned about the economy. Just to summarize the meeting, the Federal Reserve basically said that nobody in the Federal Reserve, the Board of Governors, is thinking about raising interest rates, which was good to hear that, okay? Because every now and then you hear people talking about, well, they could always decide to raise interest rates to fight inflation. And right now, you know, he said that he's not really interested. No one's really interested in raising interest rates at this point. They decided to lower interest rates here. Let me see. I got like a little volume here. Okay, let me turn that off. All right. But yeah. I was talking earlier in the Discord about how, you know, it's really hard to trade on a Fed day here. because they'll send the market up and you'll be right, only for them to then send it back down and be wrong. They basically did like a liquidity sweep here, taking out anybody that put in a fresh long right after the Federal Reserve meeting. The Federal Reserve meeting, I'm on the 5-minute chart here. This is for Bitcoin. It's, you know, we started off here at like, what, $92,500 Bitcoin. And the talk about quantitative easing and the talk about them not raising interest rates and basically being data dependent, and then also worrying about the labor market, that caused people to get bullish a little bit here and sent the price of Bitcoin up to like $94,500 around 3:15 Eastern time here. And that was like the high that we kind of hit back here yesterday. We saw Bitcoin at like 94,640. So we kind of did almost like a double top here. Actually a lower high, if you think about it. A lower high. And now they sent us back down. So if you missed out on that little pump here, you're getting another opportunity to get back in if you want to. I think I might actually try to do that myself here. I'm going to try to enter in, since we know the good news. Basically, the big dogs on Wall Street, they got a chance to see where the market wants to go, and they sent us back down, okay? And they brought the train back into the station. Like, the train was ready to leave. We were ready to head to like 95 or 96K, and they said, wait a minute, we're not done adding to our positions here. So I'm expecting the price to actually go up going into tomorrow and Friday, because we got actually a lot of bullish news out of today's meeting here on the Federal Reserve. So I think you can try to initiate a long here. And then where would you put the stop loss? Like, I'm actually going to try to see if I could do this on MEXC or one of the exchanges here. But if I was to enter a long here, right, maybe put the stop loss conservatively below the low here in the morning at $91,800 Bitcoin. I think I might try to do that right now with you guys here. Let's see. I'm going to crypto, get into the other tab here, and then let me go ahead and click on MEXC here. And I said I wasn't going to trade today, but I see that where the market wants to go. I got like a little preview this afternoon, and I'm ready to take a long on Bitcoin right now. So let's game plan this out here, okay? I'm going to do a 20x long here on Bitcoin. Giving myself a good amount of margin here. All right, and then the take profit stop loss. I'm going to see if I could carry this up to like 96K. Maybe I shouldn't be too greedy. Maybe I should do 95K. But I'll put 96K for now. We'll see how things play out. And then the stop loss, we said around like 91,000, maybe 91,600. Let's see what that does for a stop loss. I'll only lose about $23 on the long, $24 because it's going back up now. And I'm ready to open up that fresh long here. Let's go. So now I'm in a long here on Bitcoin. 20x long. I got in at 92,294. Oh, and it's already up right now, 92,360. Okay. And here we go on the take profit stop loss. I'll make about $133 if we go up to 96 grand. And stop loss is at 91,600. I'll lose about about $25 if I get stopped out. If we actually go down to 91,600, I'm okay with that. And guys, if I get stopped out this long, I'm not gonna try to enter another long. It probably means that we're having a volatile market here in crypto, and it might be better to like wait until like later on tonight or tomorrow morning to try and enter another long. But usually that's what happens on Federal Reserve Day. We get a lot of volatility. I'll tell you that. I mean, you saw that this afternoon, and I was a little bit like scratching my head because I thought we were gonna have a more volatile move, and I guess they just did a delayed reaction here where they just waited until everybody got long and bullish and pushed the price up to like 94,500, and then they dumped on us. Let me say hello to you guys in the chat. I see we got Hulk Smash. Good to see you, Hulk Smash. Ava Medina's in the chat as well. Good to see you as well. DZ, of course, DZ with the request already. He wants to take a look at SQD, Recall, and Mon. All right. I know DZ is always going to keep me busy here. Appreciate you coming on to the live stream. I got to say hello to my guys here on TikTok. I am doing a TikTok live stream as well. But let me go ahead and write these things down that DZ wants to look at those cryptos there. Let's see. Carter OBB says, why is trading so hard? Because it is. And it's a very lucrative field to get into once you master it. Because, I mean, think about it. You're getting paid to sit down at home at your computer and make the same kind of money that some people make working a 9-to-5 job, or even more than that. If you're really good at it and you got a big enough account, you could be making, like, the sky's the limit, 5 to 10 times the amount. But in order to enjoy that, where you don't have to go to work and deal with traffic and deal with a boss and annoying coworkers, you gotta pay the price of tuition of actually learning how to trade. And there's some nuances with trading. Like, you know, today, Federal Reserve Day, usually not a good day to trade, because there's a lot of volatility. A lot of people are expecting things to go up or down, and longs get too excited and shorts get too excited, and then it goes the other way on you. So that's just something that you gain through experience, that knowing that a Federal Reserve Day is usually not a good day to trade. It's actually a good day to, like, not trade and just watch the market, or just wait until like a few hours later after the false move happens. Okay, we got a false move up and then they brought us back down, but I think the overall sentiment in the news that we got is still bullish. So basically we'll probably see price creep up again to higher prices here, but I'll look at the charts, make sure that's actually going to be the case, and not just, you know, pull it out of my butt saying, yeah, we're bullish because they said this and that. We have to actually take a look at the charts here. Cameron's in the chat saying, finally some movement on XMR and hype. I don't know if that's a request, but let me know if you do want me to take a look at those for you. Rizwan's in the chat here. You said you have, you know, some money here, and I don't know what you're saying here. You say could teach to make. You're gonna teach people how to make that kind of money. Okay. Thank you, Danielle, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. And I see Laurene's in the chat. She says she'll try to catch up with me on YouTube later. Thank you for coming in and stopping by and smashing that like button there for me, Lorraine. Thank you, appreciate that. And Daniel says Bitcoin short, bro. Did you enter a short? Because I still have some shorts ready to go if Bitcoin hits 96K or 97K. Those are some areas that I'm going to look at, and I'm going to look at that right now for you guys here, okay? All right, so let's get into the daily time frame here. I'm going to pull up the VRVP indicator here for Bitcoin, and we'll see the levels that I'm looking for using the VRVP indicator here, okay? All right, so this is the VRVP indicator off to the right. We have, let me just zoom out here and gather some more data here. We got data going all the way back to October of last year. Okay. All right. So anyway, so here we go. We got VRVP indicator fired up here. We do have the highest volume node. Very important to pay attention to. This blue line at 96K. This is a line, for those who don't know. This is where the majority of people bought and sold Bitcoin over the past year now. Okay. Ever since like November of last year. Okay. You can see that right back here that people were buying Bitcoin in November at 96K. Last year, and same thing with like January and February earlier this year. They also bought some Bitcoin at 96K in April this year. All right, so the people that bought Bitcoin at that level, right? If Bitcoin goes back to 96K and they're not convinced that Bitcoin's going to continue going up to higher prices, they're probably going to sell. They're going to click the sell button to break even. So that's why I think shorting at 96K, you'll be joining all those people who want to get out of Bitcoin and who are not fully convinced that it's going to go up to higher prices here. You'll be joining them for the ones that want to get out at 96K and break even. Okay, let me get rid of some of this previous Fibonacci analysis here. I could always redraw that again later. But I think 96K is an area to be looking out for because that is the point of control, the highest volume node. If we get past 96K, then some levels to look for is going to be about 101, 102K. You got a little bit of a high volume node there. And then of course over here at 104, 105K. Those are some areas to, in my opinion, if you got spot bags in crypto and you're not fully convinced that we're going to have a good year going into next year, then, you know, you could offload your spot bags when Bitcoin gets up to like 102, 105K here, okay? But if you're also itching to offload your crypto here, you could just wait until 96K and take some off the table there as well, okay? I've already taken some off the table over the last couple of months as we started losing these levels here and going all the way down to like 80K, all right? I'm not trying to sell my crypto at 80K. I do have a little bit of crypto left, and I'm waiting for, you know, Bitcoin to climb up and also bring the rest of the yield coins up with it. I'm waiting for 96K to sell a little bit more crypto, and then I'm waiting for 101, 102K to sell a little bit more, and then I'm waiting for like 105K to sell a little bit more after that. Now, if Bitcoin's going to continue being, you know, extremely bullish and climbing up to higher prices past 105K, then we got the value area high sitting at about 112K. Get up to 112K. That also puts you above the 200-day moving averages here. Most of these simple moving averages right here. That would be when I start to become bullish again on Bitcoin. If you get above the 200-day moving average at 109K and we're testing the value area high at 112K, I'm going to be bullish again on Bitcoin. And even though I sold my crypto at like 96K and 102 and 105K, I can always buy back in again if Bitcoin is going to be bullish. And I just put my stop loss, you know, maybe at like 100K on Bitcoin, right? If we lose 100K, then there's something wrong, and we're probably going to go back down again. But I am still on the lookout for a possible lower high here, which could happen at 96K, or we could get a lower high at 102K. The last lower high that we have to be on the lookout for is this high here back here in November when we got up to 107K. If we get up to 107,480 on Bitcoin, then we're not making lower highs again. We're actually making higher highs. And then that changes the thesis, and it changes the sentiment. That would make me more bullish on Bitcoin if we see 107K Bitcoin here. Okay, but right now we're at 92,500, and you know, there's a possibility that we could be making a lower high right now, guys. I don't know if that's the case, because I think we got what we needed out of the Federal Reserve about them lowering interest rates and also doing quantitative easing, but we're still not out of the woodwork yet. Okay, we do have some data coming out for next week where we could see we have a jobs report on Tuesday and next week, and then we have CPI data. I think it's either on Wednesday or Thursday, but the jobs report is going to show us how well the economy is actually doing with jobs, and then of course the CPI inflation data. It could be a problem if there is still, you know, a lot of inflation. If inflation increases, that's going to be a problem, because that would cause the Federal Reserve to kind of maybe put a pause on lowering interest rates. They said they're not going to raise them, okay? So that we do know. That's what Jerome Powell went on the record saying today. But there might not be any guarantee of them lowering interest rates again next month and having, you know, another rally for interest rate cuts. There might not be any of that going into next month if inflation is still a problem. If inflation actually rises, that'll be even a bigger problem, okay? And then, of course, a thing that some people might have forgot, but I really didn't forget, is the federal government here in the United States. It's only funded until, I believe, like February. And then they're going to have another fight about the federal budget, and there could be another government shutdown. And that, you know, could cause the markets to get a little bit scared and anxious, and that could cause the price of Bitcoin and the price of you know, stocks as well to go down until they figure out that you know, fiasco that we just recently got out of. Okay, but yeah, right now it's looking bullish. It's looking like we might get a Santa Claus rally going into next week and maybe the week after that. All right, let me just check up on the chat here. Cameron says, excellent, great news. Cameron says 105 Bitcoin. If it hits, you're out. You're gonna get out of your alts. you're just wondering if BlackRock or Fidelity is going to start buying in, I guess. Thank you, Cameron, for sending me the gifts here. Appreciate that. All right, and then let me see what we have here in the chat here for YouTube. We got Edible Zombie saying XRP. He wants to take a look at XRP. Okay, we'll try to look at XRP after SQD because I know DZ gave me a bunch of requests here. So we'll look at SQD and then we'll look at XRP after this. And let's see. Hulk Smash says the reason trading is hard because you aren't selling eggs. You are directly competing with other traders. All money gain loss is by someone else. It's a zero-sum game, pure PPV. Yep. Yeah, you're trading with very smart people. Remember, you're trading with smart people who've been doing this for like 20 years or more. Those are the people that you're trading up against. So if you feel like it's a little bit hard out there, it is. It's supposed to be hard when it comes to trading. But those that are able to make it get rewarded very well for their efforts and for sticking through it, sticking to the end. All right, Alva Medina put up a lot of cryptos here. He says Sui, Link, HBAR, Pepe, whichever you chooses when you get a chance. Let's take a look at Sui and HBAR. As part of those requests that you just put out there. But let me start here first. We gotta look at SQD, and then we'll take a look at XRP. All right, so let's go ahead and look at SQD now. And we'll come back to Bitcoin and see how healthy it's looking on the charts here. But let's start looking at some of these requests right now. All right, so we got SQD Subsquid currently trading at less than 5 pennies, about 0.047 pennies here. I'm on the daily time frame, the daily chart here. SQD, what are you doing here? So I think, you know, overall SQD, it's been in a downtrend, right? It's been a downtrend ever since June. Every now and then you get spikes up to the upside here, which kind of like, it's a little bit frustrating to be shorting when you see something like that. But overall the trend has been down and to the right, which is not good. Okay, we have looked at this chart a bunch of times because DZ likes to request it, but all I can say, you know, just looking at the chart here is now that we're starting to get some moving averages showing up here, the moving averages are going to act as resistance. So if you ever see SQD spike up like we know it's capable of doing every now and then, just know that you should probably consider clicking the sell button when you see that when you see this asset get up to like the 50-day or the 100-day moving average. This green line is the 50-day and this blue line is the 100-day moving average on my chart. And you can see that that's exactly what happened here with SQD on November 28th here. Like you can see, we literally came right up to that 100-day moving average, and then boom, we got sent right back down to lower prices there. So, you know, I think it's good to have the moving averages on the chart, especially the 50 and the 100. That's going to be your guidance as to like where all the traders are going to be taking profit. Okay, so I would take profit myself when I see this thing spike up again. If it does that, you know, it might. But here going forward, you know, you got the white line here. This 21 EMA is going to be the line that's going to act as resistance for now, because it's been acting as resistance, right? It acted as resistance here on December 3rd. It acted as resistance here today, where we saw the 21 EMA at, you know, 0.053 pennies. We got up to like 0.052 pennies, and then we came down. Okay, so if we spike up again, just know that this 21 EMA is going to act as resistance until it no longer acts as resistance. And let's see if we have anything here on the oscillators showing us that this thing might be getting some bullish divergence and possibly bottoming out here. I do like the fact that you are trying to create some higher lows here on the RSI. That's the start of trying to bottoming out. Obviously, you know, you got lower lows here on price, but you got higher lows here on the RSI. That's bullish divergence. It's showing that bulls are actually stepping in and trying to buy at these relatively low prices here for SQD. So maybe SQD, you know, maybe it is bottoming out. All right, let me just get rid of this for now. All right. And maybe this could end up being one big giant cup and handle pattern where we kind of create like a U-shape, you know, we get like a U-shaped recovery and SQD ends up coming back up to like 20 cents one more time. Okay. But for now, I just think SQD, if you're lucky, you know, you'll probably be able to sell at that 50-day moving average. Okay. If it spikes up out of nowhere. But as far as like what it could do from here on now, I mean, you're just hoping that you're not going to make any more lower lows here. Looks like the last lower low came here on yesterday, Tuesday at 4.5 pennies. Yeah, about 4.5. Actually, I'm looking at this right now. 4.5 pennies. That's like where you came down to on November 22nd here. That could be a possible double bottom here for SQD. Okay, so if that's a double bottom and you're no longer going to go lower than 4.5 pennies, then this might be as low as SQD goes and you could be off to the races here. But I mean, you could strategically place, you know, a long here and put your stop loss right below 4.5 pennies and you might have been catching SQD near the lows for the year. Something to think about here, but I can't see why it's not worth taking a chance here, because now you got something here to work with. Before I was like, all right, this thing is like doing bullish divergence, but we don't know if it's going to make a, you know, a higher low or whatever. But it looks like we didn't make a higher low, but we actually made the same low, and we could be possibly creating a double bottom here, and that still is something worth getting excited about, because that a double bottom means you bottom out, right? It's literally in the name of it, right? Double bottom. You bottom out there. Hopefully. We'll see. We'll have to see what the next few days brings for SQD. But I am bullish based on what I heard with the Federal Reserve and what they plan on doing. So maybe we end up getting, you know, a rally here for SQD. Looks like we got another request here for AVAX. I see you, MOB. Thank you for that. Let me go ahead and write that down. We're going to look at XRP after this one. And let me just catch up over here. I think we got a new person here in the chat, or a couple of new people here in the chat for YouTube. I see Lauren A's in the chat. Thank you for coming in, Lauren A. And Imagination of Innocence, already got your limit order for 10,000 H-bar at 13 cents. You just have a hard time seeing it go lower. Did the same with XRP and Ethereum. We are going to try to take a look at H-bar later on in the stream here as well. Thank you for putting in that request. CB in the TikTok chat says we are going way lower in the coming months. Possibly, if like, you know, if the economy falls apart, then I could see that being the case. But we'll see. We're gonna get a jobs report next Tuesday. If the economy's not falling apart, then I don't know if we're gonna go lower. We might have already seen the lows for this year. All right, let's move on to XRP. Or I really shouldn't say the lows for the year. Maybe we've seen the lows for this quarter. But let me try to find XRP for you here. XRP currently trading at $2.05, down 2.3% today. And XRP has been having a lackluster performance, you know, ever since we had that little bit of a bull run here in the middle of the summer, where XRP got up to like 366. It's been lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and of course you've been making lower lows as well. We had that October 10th liquidity event, and then the kind of like the scare that we got back here on November 21st. Looks like we came down to $1.81 on November 21st, and we came down to $1.77 here on October 10th. So you can game plan that out. Like if XRP goes lower than $1.81, then you probably don't want to be in XRP, right? You can put your stop losses below $1.81 here. But this, believe it or not, is actually a double bottom, right? A double bottom has to be about 1 to 3% away from each other. So we have like a bottom here, possibly at $1.81 on XRP, and then it also went down to like $1.77 here on October 10th. That's about 1.8% away from each other. Double bottom, if you look at Investopedia, right, for the definition of it, it has to be about 1 to 3% away from each other. So you have possibly a double bottom here on XRP. But XRP might not be going any lower than what it already has done here. You should go tell that to Porky there, Hulk Smash. Tell and you too, DZ. You should tell Porky that Damien identified a possible double bottom here on XRP. With double bottoms, if this is a double bottom, it's just an idea. It's not going to play. It doesn't mean it's going to guarantee to be playing out that way. But you measure between where those bottoms are at to the top in between the two bottoms, like somewhere right here. You take that measure move, you put it on top of the top in between the two bottoms. It gives you a possible measure move as to where XRP could go. And it's showing that XRP could get back up to $3.57, that blue number right there. That would, you know, rival the highs that it made here in 2025, where we saw XRP at 366. So if this is a double bottom and we're going to go up to higher prices, we could see XRP get back up to where it was in the middle of July of 2025, just based off of that double bottom idea. Okay, not saying it's going to happen, but it's a possibility here. All right, but let's take a look at what else we got here in the charts for XRP right now. 21 EMA, this white line is acting as resistance. If you get above that white line at $2.10, you can start to become more bullish here on XRP. You become even more bullish on XRP if you get above that 200-day moving average sitting at $2.60. Okay. Let's see what the oscillators are doing here. See how healthy XRP looks. Right now, RSI at 43. You're kind of like in neutral territory. You're not really overbought or oversold. So if XRP is going to go up to higher prices, it has the room to do it, and it wouldn't be overbought. Here on the MACD, we had that selling pressure back here in November. Now we got the buying pressure. Buying pressure is dying down, so that's a little bit cause for concern. However, buying pressure could just start increasing again, and it looks like that's what it kind of did already, where you saw the buying pressure die down, and it got to its lowest point here on December 7th, this Sunday, and now you're seeing buying pressure starting to increase again. And if we're going to get a rally, a Santa Claus rally, then you'll see buying pressure increase, and you don't have to worry about selling pressure coming into play here. And then here in the daily time frame, it's a little bit confusing with these with the moving averages here on the MACD. But you do want to see the blue line do a MACD crossover and cross above this orange line here, which it did on November 24th. Okay, and that was just signal to start buying XRP. Okay, now you have the blue line flirting with crossing to the downside, but you didn't, and that was like around here on Sunday, and now the blue line is kind of like hovering above it, so it's a little bit choppy. Okay, but you want to see this blue line start yanking itself, yeeting itself up to higher levels here, showing that the buying pressure is coming in for XRP. Okay, so XRP kind of looking kind of weak compared to what I seen with some of the other higher market cap cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. I think XRP is just being the weakest one of them all right now, which is kind of crazy because early in the year it was actually one of the strongest high market cryptocurrencies, especially around the summertime. And now it seems like it's just the opposite right now during this winter that we're having here in 2025. But yeah, I think that's as much as I'm going to spend on XRP. I can always look at other stuff here, but I think XRP is looking weak compared to the other high market cryptocurrencies. But if Bitcoin is going to go up to higher prices, then XRP is going to end up following suit as well. All right, we have a request here from Mario. He wants to take a look at SUI. We are going to look at SUI. Let's go ahead and take a look at AVAX, HBAR, and then SUI. Let's go. Let's have at it. Let's see. We got Avalanche, AVAX, currently trading at $14.32, down 1.98% today. And wow, that's, I mean, it's been a brutal couple of months here. A brutal fall and autumn here for AVAX. Like, we seen AVAX, it was looking nice and solid towards the end of September. We saw it at like $36, and now we're like halfway. We dropped down more than 50% from where we were in September. Yikes. And of course, we had that October 10th liquidity event. And I think that just sucked the liquidity and the enthusiasm out of the cryptocurrency market. And since then, it's been lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low. You've been on a downtrend here, but looks like you're kind of going sideways now after bottoming out here on November 21st. We saw AVAX as low as $12.62 here. Was there bullish divergence that was showing up? I think there might be. You got higher lows, higher lows, higher lows here on the RSI after making lower lows here on the price. So you got your bullish divergence showing up here on AVAX. MACD kind of looks alright, but it's a little bit choppy. Market Cipher B. Let's see what Market Cipher B is doing here for AVAX. Yeah, I like this. You got some higher lows showing up on the momentum wave, okay, with these green buy dots. And then money flow's in the red right now. It's been negative like ever since like September, but it looks like it's on its way up to maybe we could, you know, you got the curve going back up here on the money flow. You want to see green showing up again to show that you can stay in a long here on AVAX, or stay in a bullish position here on AVAX. So I think AVAX might be getting ready to go to higher prices here. It might just be. And if we are going to go to higher prices, where can we go next? Well, you got the moving averages above you. That's probably a good target for those who are using moving averages here. 200-day moving average at $21.71. You get up to that level, and I will be bullish on AVAX again. But right now, I have to be bearish until we can at least. Can we at least get above this last lower high here in November when AVAX was at $18.58? You do that, and you're starting to make a case where we could be trading an uptrend here, right? If we get up to higher prices, get up to like $18.70 or even $19 maybe, come back down, make a higher low at some point, and then shoot up to higher prices and get up to these moving averages over here. You're creating the case that you're now in an uptrend on AVAX. That would be bullish. That would be a reversal of the downtrend here. You've had a downtrend, you had your sideways consolidation, and then could we get an uptrend on AVAX? That would be nice to see. That would get me excited to be in AVAX. I'm not in AVAX, but I mean, you could wait until we make that higher high, come back down, make a higher low, buy somewhere near the higher low, and then, you know, watch this thing go up to higher prices. Or if you want a little bit more riskier trader, you could buy right now and put your stop loss right below the lows here on December 1st, where we saw this thing as low as $12.56. That's if you're a little bit anxious to get into AVAX right now. But could AVAX go lower than where it did? Well, I mean, it kind of did on October 10th. You did see AVAX get as low as, how much lower did it go? $8.84. Yikes. Yikes. Let me go ahead and turn the VRVP indicator, see what it has to say here. We got data going all the way back to like 2022. And we have a value area low here at $11.22. That seems to be an interesting area because we saw AVAX get there in December 2022. And then we had some sideways consolidation here in June of 2023. We had kind of like a peak high here in October of 2023. So I think $11.20 is where AVAX could go and get support if it does go to lower prices. If it loses like, if it starts going lower than where it is right now and goes below $12.50, I think $11.20 is the next level where it could get some support. Hulk Smash says XRP has no bottom. Appreciate you guys hitting the like. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. Idreas wants to look at World Liberty Finance. Alright. And then Jordan wants to look at Polyswarm NCT. Alright. We got a few requests ahead of you guys there, but I'll try to make it to it at some point here. This is going to be a 2-hour live stream. We've been live for about an hour, so I got another hour to go before things get a little bit too before I gotta do some other stuff here. All right. We looked at AVAX. Let's go ahead and take a look at SUI. I was trying to get into a SUI long, and I do have some SUI spot bags here. Let's see, what is SUI doing now? At $1.63. And you know, I'll just leave the VRVP indicator on here right now. Some levels to look for SUI. You do have a lot of high volume nodes above you that you can use as take profit right now. The next take profit target above you is going to be about $1.72. Then you got a target here, possibly at $2. Then you have another target here at $2.26. And these are high volume nodes here that SUI has traded over the past year now, where people were buying at those levels, buying and selling at these levels here. So I would, you know, be interested in taking profit on any leverage long or any swing trade long here. I would be trying to take profit at those levels if I can. And then here we do have another level that I identified at 281. I think I identified this a couple of months ago, and so we never really got up to that level, but it is a high volume node there as well. And then of course we have a very big high volume node here at like 347 for SUI. I think that'd be an ultimate take profit target. That would be almost like a double from where we are right now. And then you got the value area high above you at 383. I think that's you're asking for a lot for SUI to go past that. But yeah, at 383, I would probably be selling the last of my SUI bag, because I just don't know if they're ever going to go past that price. There's going to be a lot of significant resistance there, because this is a level where we topped out here, we topped out here, we topped out here. Yeah, we did get above it, but not for too long. Okay, but I think value area high at 383, 84. That's a good area to try to sell the rest of your SUI bags if you're trying to get rid of them. To the downside, well, you know, we're not that far from the value area low and the point of control. The point of control, highest volume node, is at $1.52. There's a lot of strong support for SUI at $1.50, $1.52. And then there should be some more support here at $1.32. It's kind of like where you came down to like the lowest price here in November. Yeah, back in November, that was like the lowest price that you got down to. It was like $1.30, $1.31. So I would be planning on, you know, if you could buy some SUI if you can at $1.30 if it does come back down there. But I would put my stop loss right below those candlewick lows there, and try to ride this puppy up to the higher prices here, like $2 or $2.25 or even $2.80. Those are the targets to be looking for, in my opinion, for SUI. All right, Moving on from SUI, we'll take a look at H-bar. What did I do? I messed that up there. There we go. Better. Hadera. I'll do the same analysis here with the VRVP indicator. H-bar is currently trading at 0.137 pennies right now, down 1.4%. You got, I mean, this is data going all the way back to like January of 2024. You got your POC at like 5 cents. Your point of control, highest volume node at 5 cents. However, you do got some high volume nodes before you go down to that level. If H-bar was to continue being bearish, you do have a high volume node here at 11.5 cents. Could be some good support for H-bar, and that's basically a level that it was. You had some people that were buying it back here in May of 2024 and March of 2024 at about 11.5 cents. So that should be a strong support area if you do go down there. Maybe you might want to scoop some cheaper H-bar at that area. If we lose 11.5 cents, then you do got some high volume nodes here. Looks like there's one here at 9 cents, another one at about 8 cents. So maybe 8 or 9 cents might hold for H-bar. But yeah, I'm looking at this candlewick low here. H-bar did go down to around on October 10th. It went down to 8 cents. So somebody decided to scoop it up at that price, and so far it's been good for them, getting it at 8 cents. But I think now, like relatively speaking, like you could just plan on, you could long H-bar right now, and you put your stop loss below November 21st low at 12 cents. And now you're trying to see if you could ride H-bar up to higher prices here. For the day traders, you'd probably be targeting the value area low here at 15 cents. Or maybe even the point of control here at 17 cents. And then moving past that, if you get to higher prices here, you do have another high volume node here at 19.5 cents. Which is basically right where that 200-day moving average is sitting at. So I would be targeting, for the swing traders, I'd be targeting 19.5 cents for H-bar to the upside for a swing trade. I'm not sure if I would do it as a day trade, because you could get rejected here or get rejected here, right? But if you're in it for a swing trade or like a low leverage swing long, I'd be looking for 19.5 cents, that 200-day moving average, right with that VRVP indicator, as you got confluence with those two right there. Okay. And then that's about H-bar again, and we'll see how things change if we actually get above the POC. You know, maybe I can then tell you that you could target the value area high at 22 cents. But we got to see how we handle ourselves at the POC. At POC, I'm expecting that to be resistance at 17 cents. All right, moving on from H-bar, we'll take a look at Rural Liberty Finance and then NCT. All right, Rural Liberty Finance. Get rid of the VRVP for now. So we talked about Rural Liberty Finance, I think, last week. We talked about how it could possibly be in a bear flag, but then also it could also be in a possible ascending triangle here. And I was leaning towards being bullish or taking a long on World Liberty Finance, only because you are making higher lows here. And it looks like you were flirting with breaking out of this uptrend and out of this ascending triangle here, but now it looks like you're kind of reclaiming it and trying to get right back to it again. I think, you know, you could long here, put your stop loss below the lows on Sunday or the low here on Monday, December 1st at like 14 cents. And you could ride this puppy up to about like 17 cents. See how that works for you. because we did get up to like 17, almost like 17.5 cents here on November 26th. So I would just long here and, you know, day trade, take profit at 17 cents or 17.5 cents. But if you're in it for a swing trade or a longer term trade here, you're probably longing right now to try and take a little bit of profit here at 20 cents, which is where we were trading at back here in September. We were trading sideways here in September. I would be targeting this area for a swing trade long. And if I just pull the VRVP, it's probably going to say the same thing. Like, you know, that's the area you should be targeting. Like, you got the POC, the point of control, highest volume node, where people were buying and selling. It was happening around like 21 cents here. Okay, so you definitely, not financial advice, but I would take profit at 21 cents. And then we'll just see how it handles itself, because when it gets up to like 21 cents, it might look something like this, right? Where you get up to 21 cents, you might get rejected, but then come back up again, maybe trade sideways around 21 cents, and then you get enough demand to push yourself up to higher prices. And if you push yourself up to higher prices, you could target that value area high at 26 cents and then take some more profit at around 26 cents here on World Liberty Finance. That's how I would try to game plan taking a long and taking profit on World Liberty. However, I gave you the bullish case here. The bearish case is that, you know, we could actually come right up to like 17.5 cents, get rejected, and I don't know, if we get bad news about the economy, about inflation or whatever, Federal Reserve has to put a pause on interest rate hikes and people are losing their jobs, then yeah, I mean, we might get this might actually end up being a bear flag. And if this is a bear flag, just game planning this out, right? If this is going to be a bear flag, your measure move looks something like this, right? And you break out of the bear flag somewhere like where we're at right now, and you could see this thing drop down to 5 cents. That blue number right there. So, you know, you got a game plan for both scenarios. That's why if you're trying to long this, you're going to put your stop loss probably around like 14 cents. Because you don't want to, you know, be long and then see this thing drop down to 5 cents on you. And if you're going to try to take a short, I wouldn't take a short now. I mean, it could play out and work in your favor, but this thing could come back up to 17 cents, cause you to lose money on your short before it then decides to break down to lower prices, and then you would be making money. So I think a better, you know, if you're going to try to short it, I would try to wait till 17 cents. 17.5 cents would be, because then you could just, you know, you could just short it at 17.5 cents and put your stop loss at like 18 cents or 18.5 cents. And if you do get stopped out, then you know, like, this thing is actually bullish. It's not bearish, right? But yeah, that's how I would probably wait to short it at 17.5 cents. Shorting it now, you're hoping that it would just drop right now. There's a possibility that you could still make a higher low and then continue going up back to 17 cents again. All right, we got some more people here on TikTok. I'm going to check out Arbitrum or Algo. Not sure if you already have. I haven't looked at any of those. I'll look at Arbitrum because you made that as your first request. You guys are keeping me busy today. I like it. I decided to do a live stream a little bit later because I figured there'd be more people showing up. And I think I see that today on the stream here. We got a little bit more people because I was doing live streams at like 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time, which, you know, I get it. Some people are working. Some people are at school. Around this time, you guys are getting out of work, getting out of school, and you can actually participate in the live stream and put in your requests here. So I think I'm going to stick to the 4 to 6 p.m. time slot for my live streams here. And if I decide to go early, I'll let you guys know. I think I'm going to try to stick to the 4 to 6 p.m. time slot here. All right, so that was World Liberty Finance. Now we got to look at NCT. I kind of want to see how my Bitcoin. Yeah, I went long on Bitcoin. Yeah, I want to take a look at what Bitcoin might be doing. Let's see. I think it's at the same price that I bought it at, right? 92,000. Oh no, a little bit. I'm a little bit in the green on my long there on Bitcoin. Got in at 92,294 with a 20x long. And nothing to write home to mom about, up 3%. But yeah, I do like the fact here. I could just show it to you here on the charts here. What I'm seeing here with Bitcoin on the 5-minute time frame is I'm seeing the selling pressure that came in around like 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time here. It's starting to die down. You can see that. You can see that the MEXC, the selling pressure is dying down. Maybe we'll start cashing those bids again later on, you know, this evening. Alright, so I feel good about that Bitcoin long. I might actually move my stop loss, that way I don't get, I don't lose too much money on the stop. Right now I got the stop loss, I could lose 25 bucks roughly. And I got in at 92,294. Let's see if I could just move the stop loss to, what's the current price? Current price is 92,400. I'll put it up to 92,000. So I'll lose $10 on the stop loss if we do come down to 92K here. I feel good about the long though. A lot better than trying to long it during the Federal Reserve meeting. All right, here we are on NCT. Let me get rid of some of this previous chart work here. Clean things up here a little bit. Turn the VRVP off for now. We'll just stick to like a relatively naked chart here, just the moving averages. We're looking at NCT. Polyswarm currently trading at penny, down 1.84% today. This is interesting. Looks like NCT is kind of like trading sideways here at a penny. I'm not quite sure why. I'm pretty sure as I dig deeper into this chart, it will become a little bit more obvious to me. But here on the daily time frame, we got this white line. This is the 21 exponential moving average, and it does act like a bully and a resistance when you're in a bear market on your asset. And you're in a bear market on your asset when you're below the 2-day moving average, in my opinion here. And also, if you're more than 20% from the highs from the year, that's another definition, another rule where you're in a bear market if you're below 20%. Maybe in crypto you could like make it like 30% for the rule, but yeah, you are clearly below the lows for the year, right? How much lower could NCT actually go, right? I'm going to try the VRVP indicator now that I got all this data going back to like May of 2023. We'll see if there's any interesting levels to look for here. So, just let it digest itself there a little bit. So, there is a high volume node currently where we're at. That's probably why we haven't gone any lower than about a penny. Okay, but if we lose a penny on NCT, there's a gap in the VRVP and you don't got significant volume until you come down to like 0.0088 pennies. And then you got the POC and the value area low like right next to each other at like 0.0075 pennies. So you're not too far off from the support for NCT. But let's see how much further down that could possibly be here, percentage wise. Measuring from like where we're at a penny, about a penny, yeah, about 0.0105 pennies, down to the point of control at, yeah, I mean, we could go down another 29% before you get more support for NCT here. Let me just zoom in there a little bit, but yeah, you could lose about 29-30%. But that's where you got a lot more support if you do go down to that area, okay? But let's see. As I start to zoom back out again, here at this 1 penny level here, you do have a gap in the VRVP. If we were to go to the upside here on NCT, and you don't have that much resistance until you probably get up to like a penny and a half, 0.016 pennies here, and then you get a little bit of more of a gap here, and then you get some more resistance probably at 2 pennies. I should actually say about 0.1018 pennies to be exact, and that's actually right where that 200-day moving average is sitting at. So if I start zooming back in now, right, on the chart, your moving averages could be your targets to the upside for now on Polyswarm. If you finally get above this 21-day exponential moving average and you start making higher lows, higher highs, and start climbing up to higher prices, I would probably, if you don't know how to use the VRVP indicator and you're just, familiar with using moving averages, you can use the moving averages as your take profit targets. You got your take profit target here at about a penny, 0.016 pennies, and then you get the 200-day moving average at 0.018 pennies. Those were the same levels that I saw on the VRVP indicator. So yeah, I would be targeting those levels. I'd be targeting the 50-day moving average as first take profit target, and then second take profit target is going to be the 200-day moving average, and then we'll just see how things go from there for NCT. But yeah, you'll probably have to ask about me this, once we start making a move to the upside. Right now, you've just been going sideways here on Polyswarm. Let's see, are we gearing up for any potential pent-up demand here? Let's see, on market side for B, you do have higher low on the momentum wave, and the momentum wave is going to the upside. Got some green buy dots showing up on a daily time frame, and money flow is trying to go up into the green. Hasn't quite done that yet. Let's see what MACD looks like. MACD, you got that MACD crossed over here with the blue went across the orange line here, and that was signifying that you could take a long around like November 24th here. Selling pressure dying down and buying pressure starting to come in again for NCT. So I think you do have some possible bullish divergence showing up here on Polyswarm. Polyswarm might be bottoming out here. And then also you can see that here on the RSI where you're making higher lows here on the RSI after the price got done going to lower prices here. I think Polyswarm might be bottoming out. Not financial advice, just my opinion. It looks like it might be trying to bottom out here. So who knows? Maybe that could be it. And then your upside is going to be those moving averages to the upside here. Let's see. FX, what are you asking me here? April will decide what happens for it. A bounce is coming. That's confirmed. Do I agree? I think we might be seeing a Santa Claus rally coming up going into next week. We'll see what happens. We still have a jobs report on Tuesday, and we have we have inflation CPI report I think next Wednesday or Thursday. And if those things are both bad, then the Santa Claus rally might get canceled on us. But so far, the Federal Reserve has done and said everything that they needed to set us up for a Santa Claus rally. We're getting quantitative easing starting December 12th, 2 days from now, this Friday, where they're going to start buying about $40 billion worth of treasury bills. I already put that up here. They're going to buy $40 billion in short-dated treasury bills starting December 12th. All right, so that's going to help, and then them lowering interest rates also helps too. So we might be getting that bounce, yeah. Shmel is asking me, any tips on reading the MACD? I mean, what can I tell you about the MACD here? I like looking for, when the MACD crossover happens, like right here, this crossover to the upside. When you see that blue line get above the orange line, that's a good signal to go for a long. Also, you got the selling pressure dying down. When the red starts turning into pink, and then the pink starts turning into green, that's how you know you can get into a long and possibly stay in a long. Okay, and the opposite would happen if it was going the other way, right? If it was the other way, and the blue line crosses the orange line to the downside, you see buying pressure dying down, and this is your signal to try to maybe look for a short or take profit on whatever long you're in. And then you see that those red candles start showing up, and then you know, okay, yeah, selling pressure is starting to come in. Now, when selling pressure starts dying down, when you see the red start turning to pink again, that's probably when you want to take profit on your short if you're in a short. Okay. And then, should you enter a long? Well, if you're sticking just using the MACD, you kind of want to wait until the blue crosses the orange line to the upside again. However, look at this. Like, it did that only for a moment, and then it went back down again. So that was no bueno. And you only got a little bit of buying pressure before it started turning into selling pressure again. So you have to kind of pay attention to that on the MACD. And let's see if you were to kind of follow along with that. We'll just try to move this up here. But you see, like, we kind of had a little bit of a fake out right there where selling pressure was dying down. So this is where you would have taken profit on your short. And then you had the signal to start a long. And that was probably because of this little crazy price action that we had here on October 4th. But then look. Then the blue line crossed down to the orange line to the downside, and you had selling pressure starting coming in. And then of course you had that red day here on October 7th, and then that would have canceled out your long. And you would have to go back to shorting again on NCT. Hopefully that helped you there. Understand the MACD a little bit better. Jordan says he has 3.2 million NCTs. Wow, that seems like a lot. What is that? At about a penny. I'm going to try to do a calculator here real quick. That's a lot of NCT. You said 3,200,000 times that by 0.10. You got about 30 grand in NCT. That's a lot to be in one particular asset. I'll tell you that, especially a cryptocurrency. But just that way you don't lose too much money. Not financial advice. I would put the stop loss probably like right below the lows here at 0.0097 pennies here, so you don't lose too much. In case we're wrong, in case NCT does go down, then you won't end up losing too much here. All right, we gotta look at Arbitron as the next request here. ARB. Uh-oh. My Bitcoin stop loss just got triggered. Maybe I might have put it too tight. Are we coming down here on Bitcoin? On the corner of my eye, I see Bitcoin at 91,900. So maybe I might have put my stop loss too tight there. All right, but let's look at Arbitron for you here. Arbitron currently trading at 21 cents, about 21.5 cents here. We have looked at this. I have a lot of previous chart work here. Let me get rid of this Fibonacci for now. And I saw a little bit of a bear flag here in October going into November here. And the target to the downside, well, it took us down to like 14 pennies. We didn't actually go down to 14 pennies, but it was a possibility here for Arbitron. So Arbitron is still in downtrend here, making lower highs, lower lows. Is Arbitron actually bottoming out though? That I would have to pull up the RSI indicator here, figure out if we're getting some bullish divergence or not. I do see higher lows here on the RSI. But I wanted to see those higher lows as we were coming down like this. I just think right now we're making higher lows on the price, and we're also making higher lows on the RSI, which is fine. But what I am seeing right now is there's a possible double bottom here on Arbitrum. Looks like we got as low as like 18.5 cents here, November 21st, and then 18.186 pennies here on December 1st. So that there's your double bottom right there. And if this is a double bottom, the idea is if you measure between, you know, where the two bottoms are at, if you measure where the bottoms are at to the top and between the two bottoms, gives you your measure move. This is the measure move. You take that measure move, put on top of the top and between the two bottoms, and it gives you an idea as like how high this could possibly go to the upside. You get that blue number right there. We could see 26.5 cents roughly for Arbitrum if this double bottom plays out to the upside here. What I do like so far on Arbitrum is you are actually getting above the 21 EMA. I want to see the 21 EMA, this white line, act as support rather than resistance. So don't go lower than 21 pennies here. And I think you can start seeing higher prices here for Arbitrum. And like I said, the higher prices, 26 cents is a target to look for. Then you also got the moving averages that you could plan to get up to. You got the 50-day moving average sitting at 34 cents and the 200-day sitting at 37 cents. If you're a moving average strategy guy, you'll be looking for those as your targets to take profit. I would also try to take profit maybe like right over here where we were trading sideways in October and November at like 30 cents. So let me go ahead and throw the VRVP indicator on and see what that has to say about levels here. You got a value area low at 31 cents, so maybe you should think about taking profits at 31 cents. Then you got a little bit of volume here at 38 cents. We already said that's like where the 200-day moving average is at, so we should probably take some profits there. And if you're gonna stay in the trade longer than that, you got a point of control at 51 cents. I think 51 cents is a good area to take some profit. You'd be more than doubling your money if you buy now and take it all the way up to 51 cents. All right, thank you for following me here on TikTok. Thank you, Blendy. I saw somebody else that followed me. Thank you, GNX, for following me here. And Smell, thank you. And thank you, Money Mendoza, for following me here on TikTok as well. Got a bunch of more followers coming up here. Thank you, guys. Jean Jaquez wants to look at grass. And then Jordan says index cooperative. Is that a stock or a crypto? And let me see, I gotta write down grass. It's a crypto. Okay. All right. Index cooperative. And I don't know who put what first. All right. So you actually requested index cooperative first before Gene requested grass. Overlord said, "Bro, Fed cut did nothing." It's all part of the manipulation there. Bitcoin actually went up to $94,500, which was like the price that it was at. What, yesterday? For the highs for the week? Let me just take a look at Bitcoin one more time here. But we did go up to like 94,500, and that was the price that we were at for the highs for yesterday, when we were at 94,640. So Bitcoin did get a move up. And the stock market went up as well. So there's probably a little bit of profit taken at those levels. And yeah, we came back down after we already had the move up. I'm actually going to try to see if I get back. And let me take a look at Bitcoin here real quick before I get into those requests. Because I got stopped out of my long and I wanted to stay in that long. I think I might have put my stop loss too tight. Usually I keep the stop loss like $500 away from where the current price is at. And Bitcoin came down, I mean here on Coinbase it came down to $92,000, so yeah, I got stopped out. And then, yeah, 91,893, 92,269, 91,900. So maybe I might have put the stop loss too tight. But now, I mean, if I was to get in, I basically want to get back in at 92 grand. But I don't want to chase this move. Ugh. Let's see what it looks like on the oscillators, though. Yeah, so there's that selling pressure that came in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Selling pressure started dying down, and I thought we were going to catch some bids out of, you know, because the selling pressure was dying down here. And then selling pressure started increasing again. Okay. And here on market cipher B, at least on the 5-minute time frame, money flow was starting to increase, and it was increasing when I bought back in at 92,000. I did a long on Bitcoin at 92,200. I had my stop loss at 91,000, I think 91,700, and then I moved it up to 92,000 and I got stopped out. Should be expected on a volatile day like today. I still think we're gonna head on up to higher prices here. Because let's get into the 1 hour time frame. That'll give us an idea as like what the direction might be. Selling pressure dying down. It was dying down. Oh, it was dying down like early this morning. Selling pressure was dying down. We got a little false move up. And then we got sold out. Sold down there. Market cipher B. See, like we got money flow coming in on the 1 hour time frame. That green is in there. There's just a lot, this is just to be expected that there's going to be some fake outs. You'll be right. And the market will go in the direction that you want it to go. Then all of a sudden it will sell off on you. There's just way too much volatility on a Federal Reserve Day, which was today. You could be right about the price going up, get stopped out, and then the price goes back up again. And it's like, what the hell? I got stopped out and I was still right. So that's just the kind of craziness that happens on a Federal Reserve Day. Let's see, 4 hour time frame. That's interesting. Buying pressure is dying down here. It started increasing late this morning, and then this afternoon, buying pressure just not strong enough. I just think that they're playing games. The market makers are playing games here with people. That's why I don't really like trading on Federal Reserve Day. I'm still sticking to my strategic longs and shorts. I want to short Bitcoin if it does get up to 96K. And I want to long Bitcoin if it gets down to like 88K. So I still got those longs ready to go at 88K and my shorts ready to go at 96K. But as far as like scalp trading, it's just tough. All right, here we go. We're back at like at the price where I bought at. Like here on MEXC, I got at 92,294. Let me try this one more time here. If I get stopped out again, that's it for me today. I'm still going to target 96K as my take profit at 100. I'll make $126, and then my stop loss is going to be at 91,600. And maybe I'll just keep it at 91,600. Let's go ahead and do that again one more time. Boom. All right, I'm back in a Bitcoin long again at 92,267. Is the price that I got in at. with my 20x long on Bitcoin. You guys able to see that? And just double check my work here. If this long plays out, and I can always take profit before it hits 96K, but if this long plays out, I make $126 on the trade. And if I get stopped out, I'll lose about $22 if it goes down to 91,600. So I'm okay with that. This is my take profit stop loss right there on MEXC exchange. All right, so we gotta look at those requests here. We gotta look at index cooperative, and then grass. Looks like it's trading on Coinbase exchange. Okay. All right, let's get into the daily time frame, see what this thing has been doing. Oi, okay. So it's looking just like all the other altcoins for 2025, where the beginning of 2025 was like the highest price you could sell it for. And like the end of 2024 was like kind of like an old coin rally here. This thing was as high as like $5.23, and now we're trading at 61 cents. So you have about like a 90% discount from what the prices were back in December of last year. All right. So I guess one of your questions must be is, are we bottoming out, right? Because I think this has been the question all year long, is has this thing bottomed out yet? Let's look at the RSI, see if there's any bullish divergence. I do see some higher lows here in the RSI. All right, so this could be the start of something good here. Okay, you got lower lows on the price. However, you got higher lows here on the RSI. That's your bullish divergence there. Okay, it's showing that buyers like these prices. They're stepping in to buy as index gets closer to 60 cents here. Okay. Has this happened before early in the year though? I'm a little bit curious, because I mean, you could have said the same thing here. No, I take that back. I mean, you could have said the same thing back here in October of last year, but yeah, okay. Alright, so maybe you're finally getting bullish divergence, actual bullish divergence for the first time in 2025. It's starting to show up here now that this asset's at 60 cents. That's the start of something good. What I want to see next is I want to see you start making higher lows and higher highs. Let's see if we can get up to the 50-day and even the 200-day. If you get up to the 200-day moving average, this red line here at $1.06, I will flip bullish, but you got to stay above it, because you can't do what you did here on October 30th, where you got up and it came right back down. You tried it again one more time on Halloween, on October 31st. You got up above it, and then you came right back down. You got to close above that 200-day moving average for me to be bullish, and stay above it. Keep closing above it. But I want to see something like that, where you get up to the 200-day moving average, maybe you go sideways a little bit, and then you launch up to higher prices here on index. That might be a lot to ask for. All you might get is you might actually come up to this 50-day moving average sitting at 90 cents and then get rejected again. So these are the levels to look for. If you're going to buy now, probably put the stop loss below the lows here on December 1st at like 56 cents. And then you're targeting 90 cents. Take some profit there. And then take more profit when you get up to the 200-day moving average at $1.06 here. Then you'll see how the thing handles itself. If you want to re-enter again after you just took profit, you can probably take profit and then put the stop loss maybe below the 50-day moving average at 90 cents. Okay, but you gotta see how this thing handles itself. Like, is it gonna go up and then go sideways at the 200-day moving average, or are we gonna do something like this where we come up and then get rejected and come right back down to 60 cents all over again? You probably want something like this, right? But you don't know if you're gonna get that. You could get just rejected and come right back down. You want me to check the market cipher for index on the weekly? All right, we'll go into the weekly chart and we'll look at market cipher B. Get rid of that. All right, so on market cipher B on the weekly time frame, you are clearly oversold. These green horizontal bars are your oversold. If you're familiar with the RSI, this is just like being at like a 30 or below on the RSI. Okay, so you are clearly oversold. You got a green buy dot, which is great to see, especially on the weekly time frame, on a higher time frame. However, we need some more time and some more data to see what happens next, because right now the money flow is just, yeah, it's in the red, but it's going horizontal. You don't know, money flow could start decreasing again and go down on you, and not in a good way either. But what you want to see is you want to see money flow start increasing where it curves back up on the weekly time frame, indicating that this could be the bottom for index. Okay, so we shall see. It's going to probably take another week or two to figure out, you know, what's money flow going to do here. But another thing you can also look for is just the momentum wave. You want to see like this blue wave start curving back up. You'll probably see that before the money flow starts curving up. But yeah, you kind of want to see something like this where, you know, the blue starts curving back up again, and then money flow will curve back up and go into the green. You want to see that on the weekly time frame here. But I can see why you're a little bit, you know, kind of excited here. Also here on the MACD, on the weekly time frame, since we're looking at it right now, you got selling pressure was an issue here in November, but now it's starting to decrease. If you start seeing green, a MACD flip where you get some green candles showing up, that's going to help justify being long and bullish on index. And let's see, do we have any crossovers here? This is interesting. So the blue crossed the orange to the downside in November, but this blue could start curving back up, cross the orange to the upside, and then you got yourself your signal here to go long once that blue crosses the orange. And it looks like it could do that later on this week or next week. You just got to give it some more time here. Okay. All right, might be worth taking a shot. And then what? You put the stop loss below the lows at like 58 cents or 56 cents. Might be worth taking a long. All right, let's see what we got here. Ava Medina is asking me, which coin am I most bullish for the next couple of months besides Bitcoin if the bull market continues? There's just so many damn coins out there. I feel like a lot of these coins are going to be good if Bitcoin starts climbing back up to 100K or higher. But which one am I going to be bullish? Or which one do I think could run the hardest? If we're going to go into another bull run, if this is the worst that it gets for 2025, I think you got to look at the meme coins. Maybe look at like Pudgy Penguins or Bonk, some of those meme coins that got beat the crap out of. Because those coins, they'll run the hardest and they're very cheap. Like, what is Pudgy Penguin at? Like a penny? It's very easy to talk to your friends or your family and say, hey, buy Pudgy Penguin at a penny Because, you know, Pudgy Penguin, what was it? It was trading at like 3, 4, 5 pennies. Earlier in 2025, we got as high as like 4.5 pennies. It's very easy to convince your friends and families to be like, hey, you can buy Pudgy Penguins at a penny, and when it goes up to like 4 pennies again, you quadrupled your money. You got a 4x right there. You're still holding your Pengu and your Pepe and Bonk. Yeah, I mean, that's what Pengu looks like. And then let's see what Pepe. Ugh, Pepe looks like god awful, to be honest. I would probably say this is probably one of the worst of the meme coins, but because it's god awful near the bottom, lows for the year. Maybe this could be a really great buying opportunity where it's so bad it's good, you know. How much further to the downside could Pepe actually go? Let's see, the lows for the year came in at 396. Yeah, 396. So let's just game plan this out, right? Let's just for shits and giggles here. If you were to long Pepe right now, you put your stop loss at like 390, around that area. And then you're just trying to get back up to some of the highs here back in the summer. You're risking about 18% on the stop loss to try and get 195% gain. Pepe could possibly be a 3x from where it is right now. And your risk reward ratio is 10.6. But if you're going to try to target where Pepe was at back here in December of last year, right? I mean, this is where people get all excited. Oh my god. You got a risk reward ratio of 26.6. Anything more than 3 is a good trade to take, but if 26 is really juicy. And you're risking 18% to try and get 491%. That's like what? A 5x? But we don't know if Pepe's ever going to get back to that level. I think realistically, you're just targeting to see if Pepe can get back up to where it was in the summer of 2025. And that's still a decent, like, almost a 3x right there. Yeah. I don't think you're going to see Bitcoin do a 3x in the next few months. But maybe Pepe could. Pepe might be able to do a 3x. Jordan wants to look at RSC. And Idrea says, World Liberty Finance. We did look at World Liberty Finance. Are you just telling me that? Are you trying to, like, make a statement there? You're praying for World Liberty Finance. Alright, yeah, we gotta take a look at some other coins here. We gotta look at grass. I forgot to look at grass here. So grass on Kraken. Let's see, is there another exchange I can look this on? Let's look it on MEXC. I'm gonna get rid of this for now. Into the daily time frame we go. So grass, just another cryptocurrency that saw its best days back in November and December of last year, and then that's it, making lower highs, and lower lows. Things were looking kind of interesting here back in August and September, but it looks like we lost. We lost that here in October, October 10th. Bad day for crypto. Are we going to get some bullish divergence? That's what I want to know here with grass, right? I do see higher lows starting to form here in the RSI. Ooh, let's see. Someone is sending me some gifts here. Thank you, Jordan, for sending me the galaxies there. Thank you. What do we got here? Higher lows, higher lows. However, you're also kind of making higher lows here on price, so I'm not sure if that is bullish divergence. I would say the bullish divergence, if there was any, it was showing up like right over here in the beginning of November, right? So you already had the bullish divergence showing up here. That's good to see. And I think some people might have seen that, and that's why you got the run up here in the middle of November on grass. And once again, these moving averages are a pretty big effing deal here, because as soon as we came out to this 50-day moving average on grass, we got sent back down. So 50-day moving average, someone else was paying attention to that at like 63 cents, and grass got sold right back down. We didn't get a chance to close above it. I think if you're going to get another spike up, you're looking for that 50-day moving average one more time. But now, you know, history can repeat itself, but it's not going to rhyme. You're only going to be able to get 54 cents out of this. This is where the 50-day moving average is sitting at. So you can buy right now at 33 cents and try to target 54 cents to the upside. And then if you're able to push past that, then maybe the 64 cents was the 100-day moving average, which would probably put you as like a double top here on grass, because we did get up to like 65 cents on November 20th here. So 64 cents is where this thing could go and just create a double top. Alright. And I would just be looking to trade this. I wouldn't be really looking forward to being a long-term investment on grass unless you can get above that 200-day moving average sitting at 86 cents. Which is going to be confluent with the sideways trading action back here in September and October, where this thing was trading at about roughly 80 cents. I think that's it. I mean, just using the moving averages should be a good strategy here. But let's see what the VRVP has to say about things here. VRVP is saying that you got a high volume node here about 80 cents. So 80 cents, yeah, because everybody else was buying here in August, September, and October. These people are underwater if they're still holding on to their grass, and if grass gets back up to 80 cents, they're going to probably click the sell button to break even. However, if you're able to push past 80 cents, then the volume drops off here on the VRVP indicator, and you won't get some resistance until like $1.17 is where this value area high is sitting at, and that's where the people were buying back here in July and June. They're underwater right now, but if we ever get up to like $1.17, they'll be back to break even, and they'll be able to click the sell button, and maybe you should join them and click the sell button if this thing does get up to $1.17. If it does get up to $1.17, that's about what? I think that's like a 3x, right? Yeah, it's a 3x. Be up 242% from where you are right now. All right. So we gotta look at RSC and then Reef, and I think that's gonna be it for this for the requests here, guys. I gotta wrap it up after that. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at RSC. Research coin. Oh man, I have looked at Research coin in the past here too. Let's see. We'll just stick to using the VRVP indicator for this one. Research coin is very low. It's near the lows for the year. It's trading at 18 cents right now. When it started trading on Coinbase, we saw this thing as high as like 57 cents, 82 cents here on July 31st. Research coin has a lot of upside potential if it starts catching some bids here. The value area low is sitting at 43 cents, which would put you above the 50-day moving average. That 50-day moving average would probably act as resistance at 37 cents. But a good majority of people did buy at around the value area low here. What did I say? That value area low, I got it at 44 cents here. So 44 cents is an area that people were buying back here in August, beginning of September, end of September. These people here, they thought they bought the bottom, but then they lost it here in October. So they're probably a little bit discouraged, and they're probably going to click the sell button if this thing does get back up to like 43, 44 pennies. But for you, if you were to buy right now, that's a double for you, right? Just getting back up to 44 pennies. However, we just don't know if we're actually going to get back up to this level at 44 pennies. Right now, you got this 21 EMA acting as resistance. Every time you get up to it, you get rejected. Rejected, rejected, rejected. Here you kind of spent a day or two above it, and then you lost it. Rejected again, rejected again. So the 21 EMA on this coin is sitting at 21 pennies. At 21 pennies, I would take profit on a day trade if I was day trading this. Right? I would take profit. I would take partial profit, right? I would take partial profit, move my stop loss to break even on the long, and I would stay in the long just in case you do break up. If you do break out of the 21 EMA and it actually breaks out for real to the upside, you might not get any resistance until you hit that 50-day moving average at 36 pennies, and that could be a double. But if you got a leverage long on that, I mean, oof, that could be a nice payday. All right, let's look at Reef now. There we go, Reef coin on MEXC exchange. We're now looking at Reef currently. I mean, what should I say for a price here? I'm just going to call that 1682. We're down 1% today. It's almost the same thing as research coin. Like, you got the 21 EMA acting as resistance here. Every time you hit that 21 EMA, you get rejected, 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 and that 21 EMA is now sitting at 1783. If you're gonna long it right now, the most you can hope for is just getting right up to that 21 EMA sitting at 1783, and then take profit. But then what you could do is you could enter a short at 1783, because it looks like this thing is just, it's been a nice beautiful short, right? Because if I flip the chart upside down, you'd be like, oh my god, this thing is so bullish. All it does is just keep going up, and every time you hit the 21 EMA, you should be buying it. However, that's not the case. This is the actual case. We're in a downtrend. So if you hit that 21 EMA, you should be looking for a short. You put your stop loss, whatever is comfortable for your stop loss. And then this thing is just, it's in a downtrend, and you can measure this out, right? Looks like kind of like a parallel channel, a downward, descending parallel channel. What you could do here is, let me see if I can pull this up here, parallel channel. And I might have to readjust this here a little bit. But yeah, you could just do something like this for an idea, okay? When you come up to the top of this parallel channel and to where this 21 EMA, you short it. You bring that short all the way down to the bottom of the parallel channel, and then you take profit, probably at lower prices here on this coin. And I mean, how much further could it go to the downside? Well, you're kind of near the bottoms. You got a bottom here in June and a bottom here in April, so maybe we are done going down. But if we aren't, you can still use this parallel channel to help give you some guidance as to like how far down you can go and how far up you're gonna go if you're gonna stay in this channel. All right, thank you Jordan for the gifts here, appreciate that. I'm gonna try to finish up here on Bitcoin and try getting ideas like whether I should stay in my long or whatnot. But let's try to figure out what Bitcoin might do tonight going into tomorrow morning. We're gonna go into the smaller time frames here. I still think long term Bitcoin might have trouble with 96K, so that's where I got like some shorts ready to go, some short limit orders. Let's get into the 4-hour time frame, and we'll walk it down to the 5-minute time frame here. So on the 4-hour time frame, Bitcoin is coming up against this 200 moving average. Could act as a resistance, be a problem for now. Bitcoin might want to go sideways because of that. However, we did get a relatively dovish and bullish Federal Reserve today. So I think the markets might try to run going into tomorrow morning, now that we know what the Federal Reserve plans on doing with quantitative easing and lowering interest rates. I don't think we'll get any bad news until maybe next week, where the jobs report could derail a potential Santa Claus rally, or we could have inflation still be an issue next week, because we have the CPI report coming on, I think, Thursday of next week. Let me just double check. Forex factory, yeah. Was it next Thursday? Let's see. Next Thursday, the 18th. Apply. Let's see. Boom. Yeah, CPI report coming out Thursday, December 18th. 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Could rock the markets if the inflation is still an issue here. And then the jobs report is going to be on Tuesday, so be on the lookout for Tuesday and Thursday next week. Let's see. 4-hour time frame, I think, you know, it's fine for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is probably going to bullshit consolidate and then go up to higher prices. Let's see what the MACD is showing here. Buying pressure is dying down. I don't like that. I want to see buying pressure start to increase. So that's, I think the markets are still trying to digest what happened this afternoon. And then here on the 1-hour time frame, see selling pressure dying down. Then it increased out of nowhere at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon here. Not sure what that's all about, but I think the overall trend is that selling pressure is dying off. I think we're going to get some buying pressure later on tonight. And I say that with Bitcoin at 92,600 right now. All right, and then also I want to see if this blue line crosses the orange line on the 1-hour time frame, that's your signal to go long and maybe become more bullish on crypto here, or at least more bullish here on Bitcoin. All right, so we got that going on. Now let's look at the 15-minute time frame. Let's see what's going on in the 15-minute time frame. On the 15-minute time frame, looking at these candle wicks, you can see that there is buying pressure when Bitcoin gets below like 91,700. Buyers start showing up. You get these candle wick lows, and then also we're still making higher lows here with the candle wicks. So, you know, I'm in a long. I got my stop loss at 91,600. And that's basically below these candle wick lows here. So we would have to come down, take out all the liquidity over here for me to get stopped out on my my long on Bitcoin. And that's asking for a lot, but if they're going to do that, then maybe there's something maybe we're not bullish. But I think, because we're making higher lows here on the 50-minute time frame, and we did get this nice move up here. There's now some longs that are trapped. They're not going to click the sell button until they can get back to break even again. So I think we might just start creeping up higher going into later on tonight here, guys. Shoot, I might even enter another long on another crypto here. I might try to go long on Sui or Solana or something like that. Jordan says 1000x long on NCT. Let's go. Oh my god. Wouldn't that be something? Let me look at the market cipher B. We got a green buy dot saying that right now could be the end of the selling pressure that we had. And we're just waiting for... Oh, the green buy dot just disappeared. But I bet you if we go up again and look to 92,600, it'll show up again. But I want to see money flow start coming back up here in the 15-minute time frame to justify being in the long still. And then here on the MACD, selling pressure is dying down here on the 15-minute time frame. My signal to justify going long or staying in the long would be with this blue line crossing the orange line to the upside. Kind of like you saw earlier this morning at 10 a.m. You saw that blue line cross the orange line to the upside. You saw buying pressure coming in. And yeah, earlier today was a good day to be in Bitcoin. You would have been able to get Bitcoin at like 91K, right? Around like 91,900 roughly. Yeah. So I think the market makers were playing games. There were some people that took profit. They're taking profit because they, you know, they identify that those were the highs from yesterday. So once we hit those highs or came close to it, that's when they sold us and took us back down again. But I think the market's poised to go up to higher prices here. And then another thing I want to show you guys, just for the long-term picture view here, on the 5-day time frame here for Bitcoin. Okay. Yes, you got a bounce off of the 100 moving average. That was good to see. However, here on Market Cipher B, this is what I like to see: a green buy dot near the oversold bars here. We might have seen the worst. The last couple of months was pretty brutal here in Bitcoin and crypto, but we might have seen the worst of the worst, and we might actually be getting a Santa Claus rally, guys. If money flow starts creeping up higher, momentum creeps up higher, these might be the lowest prices you can get your crypto for, guys. And then here, selling pressure is starting to die down on the 5-day time frame for Bitcoin. The next thing I would like to see is this blue line cross the orange line to the upside, justifying that we are back to being bullish here on Bitcoin again. But that's going to be it for today's live stream. Thank you guys for coming out. Be on the lookout for the next live stream. I'll try to go live same time tomorrow from like 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys want to continue the conversation, you can join the Meet Damien Discord, which is free to join. The link should be like here on TikTok. You see on the bio for my page, that's the link to join the Discord. And then for my YouTube guys, the link should be in the links here on my page. There's that Discord link right there in the description to my page. It should also be in the description to this video that you're watching as well. Okay, and we can keep the conversation going on the Meet Damien Discord. Let's see if I can pull it up here real quick here, where you'll see like when I go live. Let me see if I can get to show this for my my Discord guy. I mean my YouTube guys here. Hey, where is this thing? I was gonna try to pull up the Discord, but yeah, you guys, you just have to come join the Meet Damien Discord. We keep the conversation going there, and you can ask me about whatever asset you want me to look at, and I can take a look at the setup. We do trade setups as well. So if you have like a setup you want to look at, or if I have a setup I think might be good, I'll try to share that here with the Discord. And then of course, you know, after you make your money on these trades here, like we got Cameron over here just killing it with his 100x long on Solana, going up like 1,000% on some of these like on some of these trades here. You can go ahead and show off your trades if you want to. And if you guys are looking to try to find a link to get a referral code here, I do have links here in the Meet Damien, so you can join MEXC crypto exchange. You can join Coinbase and Kraken with the links that I got, and you can also get a discount on your TradingView subscription, where you can like take $15 off your subscription plan using my referral code here. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today. I will see you tomorrow. Good luck trading and investing in whatever asset you decide to get into, guys. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow.